All right, we're back, and there's been a big topic on the news here in the last couple of weeks.
That actually affects our show.
Absolutely, and uh, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He is, he's our health czar. He's wanting to do things and I have to
That
agree with him.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree with him on a lot of things.
Some things are a little wacky.
And I didn't grow up with knowing anybody with autism or any of those problems.
ADHD.
ADHD, but we were just sometimes like
Tourette syndrome.
Yeah, Tourette's.
Celiac disease, which
go.
is the actual gluten intolerance, or it's something else that's causing it, but celiac.
But I fully agree with it, and I support it, and especially with these dyes, and I know you want to talk about that. So
yeah,
tell us what your thoughts are, what you feel about it.
Well, as most people have ascertained, when it comes to politics, I'm not a fan. I go by the assumption that everyone is wrong. Prove to me you're right.
Yeah.
But when a new president comes in, no matter what party they're in, there are certain things I hope to address. And when Barack Obama came in, there was something that I thought he was going to address, and he made it a paramount part of his campaign, and that was fixing our food system. And he did a horrible job with it. He hired a Monsanto lobbyist to head the USDA, and it was just gone. He's not the only one I accuse of that.
No.
Every single president except Reagan has hired a Monsanto lobbyist to head up one of those two divisions. They've been involved with it, Republican or Democrat. I have issues with that. Monsanto is not a food company. They're a chemical company.
Yeah.
And lobbyists should never be given jobs. But this is the first time that one of the major issues in our food system has been addressed, and that is these dyes. And you know why we didn't have all of these ailments that we talked about, from celiac, all of this? It's because we didn't genetically modify or tinker with the chemistry of food.
Right.
So for hundreds of thousands of years, our body got used to pure food, real food, not things made in a laboratory. I'm going to throw into that high fructose corn syrup and hydrogenated oil, which you may know as Crisco. All of these things were made in a lab to mimic food, and our body rejects them. These dyes are a big part of a lot of the mental health issues we have in this country today. So I'm going to go down real quick what we've done. He already banned red dye number 3 because it had a high risk of cancer and was proven hyperactivity in children, which we now call ADHD. It is a fluorine-based product. We don't eat fluorine, okay? So you're putting that in there. The new ones that are coming out, they're going to eliminate green number 3, which has a low risk of neural behavior effects and carcinogenicity. I'm struggling with that, but especially bladder tumors, okay? It's used in canned peas and sherbet, stuff like that. It is a petroleum-based product. We don't eat petroleum.
I don't.
Red number 40 can cause allergic reactions in some individuals, such as hives, eczema, and asthma. Eczema is a common problem in this country right now, and that's why. It wasn't common before we started doing this. It's used in things like Kool-Aid, Starburst, NyQuil. We don't need food coloring in NyQuil. I don't care what it looks like. Make me feel better. Let's see, yellow number 5. By the way, red number 40, also a petroleum-based product. Yellow number 5, it can damage DNA, cause inflammation, and moderate risk for children of hyperactivity, irritability, and restlessness. That's all of your behavioral issues. It is found in Mountain Dew and Twinkies, among other things, but those are examples. It is a complex mixture of chemicals derived from coal tar.
Wow.
Yellow number 6, high risk of allergic reactions, potential neurobehavioral effects in children, and contamination with carcinogenic chemicals, and may lead to urinary bladder cancer. It is used in Airheads, Jolly Ranchers, Lucky Charms. It is another complex mixture of chemicals derived from coal tar. Blue number 1 is a moderate risk of hyperactivity in children, allergic reactions, and may be associated with small cancer risk. It is a petroleum-based product. Blue number 2, increased risk of tumors, particularly, see if I can get the word right, brain gliomas. Okay, I'm not a doctor, clearly, as well as potential neurobehavioral effects in children. It is a sulfur-based product. They are revoking the authorization for citrus red number 2. Wait till you hear this beauty. It is a high-risk carcinogen causing tumors, particularly in the urinary bladder. It is already banned in California and Arizona. Here's its use. It is used to color the outside of oranges. Okay. It is a dimethylphenolazole based product. I don't really know what that is, but I know this, that dimethylphenolazole is not something that human beings are accustomed to consuming. It is a high risk for gastrointestinal issues and cancer, and they can also damage the liver and bile duct. It's horrible. And then they're also revoking Orange B, which does the same thing. And it's another azo product. Now, you've seen these letters in front of this all your life, FD and C before color. Just a lot of people need to know that stands for Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act of 1938. So if something is okay under the FD and C, that means, sure, under 1938 science, it's safe. So there is a Delaney clause that came in 1958 to that act. This clause prohibits the FDA from approving any food additive found to cause cancer in animals or humans. Yet all of these are proven to cause cancer, and all of these have been approved, even though federal law says they should have never been on the market. So this is a step in the right direction. That's all of our mental health. Every one of these, if you remember, said affects neural behavior.
Right.
That is the chemistry which our brain operates off of. Something else that affects that is the moon because of the gravity. Have you ever noticed, if you talk to first responders, my dad always said, it's going to be a rough night tonight. We got a full moon.
Yeah.
Well, it's because the theory is if it can affect the oceans, it can affect the chemicals in your brain. That's how precise the chemicals in our brain are, that the moon can affect your mood just from its gravitational effects.
Brandon's mom worked in medical field, ophthalmology, and when they were on call on the weekends, full moon weekend, they were busy the whole weekend.
Yeah. So if the moon can have that kind of effect, all of these chemicals that human beings are not supposed to consume, that's throwing our brain chemistry off.
Yes.
Our mental health issues start with this, and every single thing geared towards children's consumption contains one or more of these colorings.
I woke up.
Juice boxes are bad for your kid. Get an orange, make sure you clean the outside to get the orange pee off of it, and squeeze them a fresh glass of juice.
I happened to get up at 2:30 this morning, and I just looked at my phone, and I saw a video on Instagram, and this lady, and she sounded like she's British, and she was over there, and she was talking to a group of people about milk, and her son has autism, and she finally found some raw milk, and she would give him raw milk,
raw and pasteurized milk.
And she said in no time, within weeks, she noticed a significant difference in the way her son acted.
Since we started pasteurizing milk by law, there have been way more outbreaks of issues from pasteurized milk than from raw milk. Now, you can also make the argument that's because 99.9% of the milk consumed in the U.S. is pasteurized. But what the problem was prior to pasteurization was we didn't refrigerate milk.
Yeah.
Now that we know that refrigeration is a key element, and keep it refrigerated when it comes out, or seal it hermetically so that no oxygen can get to it, because it's the bacteria in the air that makes that start happening.
Yeah.
If you can seal it off from that hermetically, the milk is perfectly fine. It does not need to be pasteurized. So there are a lot of things that we did with the thought of, we have this amazing science, let's help people. And we didn't think it all the way through. We just looked at, okay, we did this got better, we're a winner. And we didn't wait to see what the effects are going to be down the road from that.
Wow.
Because that costs money.